Where are we? Mic check 1, mic check 2. If you are watching this live stream back on the replay, take advantage of the chapters and skip ahead to the start of the show. I'm still setting up and giving people time to tune in. Yeah, guys, I hope y'all had an awesome day in the markets, because, man, I saw a lot of green and my portfolio is looking nice. A lot of positions that I've been waiting on are doing what they supposed to be doing. Finally, I want to say thank you to the new subscribers. People that's been tuning in, sharing and commenting in the chats has been helping out tremendously. Getting a little bit better with being on time. The latest I'm gonna start is 11. That's the plan. Earliest is 10:55. Sound checking, looking good. Yep. So we got to get our chats and stuff set up and all this other stuff. But I am here. And we're gonna start using the glass. And I know the sip slow. When I rush drinking, I ended up splashing on my face, and I look goofy. Looking goofy when I let that happen. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Let's get the Thinkorswim platform signed in. And guys, I am excited about that too. I'm looking forward to our weekly recap live. I got approved for level 2 options. Oh yeah. And I've been practicing submitting orders in the on-demand feature on the Thinkorswim platform. And that's been really cool. So I'm going to work that into showing you guys how to do that on the weekly recap live. I just don't know which one we're going to do that on yet. So where are we at with the chats for the stream? Let me see. Check this. Thank you guys for tuning in. You know what it is. We are setting up. Okay, there's that. Let's check. Okay, I heard it, but it was really low. So that's in the headphones. Let's get this to where when you guys leave a message, I'll actually hear it. So let's set that up right now to make sure when these chats come in, boop, I'll be able to hear it. So let's see how this one sounds. That's better. That is better. So let me delete these, turn it up just a little bit. I think it's a little too low. Let's try this one more time. That's good. All right, now I'm just gonna chat through this and explain to you where I am while you're waiting for me to start the show. While you're waiting. No. Okay. Yep. So let's go over to X. See if we're live. And to share that recent video about SpaceX. I don't think I checked their stock price today, but I think they're still trading around $150. So let me see if I'm any better at doing this, setting up this chat on X. Y'all know I don't have no production team yet, so bear with me. But it's in my future. Understand? It's in my future. We gonna get there. All right, so I'm on the live stream. Click on it one more time to get to the chat. Here we go. It's muted. Cool. Now, let's get this message. I need. So we want to go here. I'm going to share that SpaceX video. I'm putting it together right now. So that'll be in the chat. We're going to pin that to the top of the chat. First chat I'm going to put it in is over here on X. So once I do that, we can just copy and paste it. And then this will also let me know if the social stream ninja is working. Matter of fact, just in case somebody's tuning in, like, what is he talking about? He ain't doing nothing about the actual Stock market, yeah. Let me put this at the bottom. We got the LITE going, and we'll do the ticker poll. That way you guys can do that while I'm setting up. All right, I got the chat in X. Let me copy that, and let's see if it comes through. Bam. Yes. Oh, okay. So X is working. Now let's go ahead and check Facebook. And then we'll check YouTube last, and then we'll go ahead and start the show. I just don't want people tuning in and chatting, and I at least don't know that, and I know that was all broken English, but I at least want to know if it's working or not on the chats on the live stream. So here we go. Now let's check. I at least want to know if it's working or not. That's too loud, and y'all gonna hear that. Okay, so that's Facebook. Let's put this in the comments and see if it comes through. It says posting, and it's a long delay. Okay, it's posted, but I don't see it coming through on this 2 nights in a row. I do not see this coming through on the Social Stream Ninja for that live stream. So let me go ahead and share the live stream. So we did that. Let me try to do this a different way. Let me comment on here and see if it comes through on Social Stream Ninja. Did it as a comment, and no, didn't come through that way either. Boy, this is a trip. Oh, we'll work on that another time. So at least X is working. So we got X. Now let's do the YouTube stream, and we can get started. We can get started. So studio, and this will be faster, guys. This won't be a every time thing where like, man, why is it taking so long? But setting this up, I have to be live in order to make sure the chat works. And as you can see, we haven't been able to get Facebook to work for the last 2 times we've done this. It's an inconsistent thing. I have no idea why it's like that. All right. So we put this over here on YouTube. Okay, that's working. So we know they're getting it on X, and we know they're getting it on YouTube. Let me pin this to the top so to stay on here while the chats come through during the live stream. And since y'all been so patient, let me try this one more time. Maybe if I do that, sign in. It says that it has a session that is using already. Let's clear that out. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that because I don't know how long that's gonna take. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Close that out. Oh, we don't have the websites pulled up that we visited tonight. So let's get those. We got that one. Okay, and we got that one and Pepsi. Got it. So we got those 3. And then we have the watch list we're going to use tonight. We got that going. Let's go to the charts. We got that pulled up. Okay, we're good. Move this. All right, now let's organize these. So we're going to look at Pepsi first. Then we're going to look at this one. And then we're going to look at that one. All right, blow this up. Doom, doom, doom. Like I said, I hope y'all had an awesome day in the markets. Hope y'all had an awesome day in life. And we're going to have a great show tonight once I get started. Like, wait a minute. We're going to get it. We're going to get it there. All right, there go Pepsi. Now let's get this set up for the earnings. Look, got a lot of beverages here. All right, so let's go here. Earnings. Bam, let's position this 1. Drag this over 2, and we're good. So that's our earnings. And cut this phone off. My water getting hot. Power off. All right. Glass is not dirty tonight, so if you look forward to me cleaning my glasses, I'm not gonna clean them and they're not clean. I mean, they're not dirty. So you're not getting that tonight. So let's go there. Take that off the screen. And let's go. I think we're good. All right. All right. Friday night. Oh. Here we go. Getting the script ready. All right. Welcome to Market Recap Live. I'm your host, Joseph Martin, and thank God it's Thursday, guys. Oh, thank God it's Thursday. And tonight we are taking a look at ticker PEP. You might know them better as Pepsi. Caleb Bradham, who originally invented the Pepsi Cola recipe and founded the Pepsi Cola company all the way back in 1898 in New Bern, North Carolina. I know the flow of how I said that was off, but you heard me, all right? But PepsiCo Incorporated was formed in 1965 through a merger engineered by Donald Kendall, with the global corporate headquarters opening in Purchase, New York. Now they're traded on the NASDAQ and have a market value over $180 billion. Yes, that's B, billion dollars. Pepsi is in the beverage industry and the consumer staples sector, and they are listed in the S&P 500 index. Some of Pepsi's competitors are the Coca-Cola Company, ticker KO, Keurig Dr. Pepper Incorporated, ticker KDP, and Monster Beverage Corporation, ticker MNST. We're going to review Pepsi's earnings, their website, and pull up the charts to form a quick technical analysis. But before we do that, let's do our roll call and check our stream poll. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Let's get this chat going and tell us where you're tuning in from. My watch keep going off. This is annoying. And tell us where you're tuning in from. Put a YT in the chat if you're tuning in from YouTube, FB for Facebook, and an X for X. While you guys are filling up the stream and the chat, here's the mission statement. We are building a community over here for people who want to take control of the financial situation by learning how to unlock the wealth building power of the stock market. And we are streaming Monday through Friday, following trading sessions at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. The U.S. stock market regular trading hours are 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and there's a link for the New York Stock Exchange calendar down in the description. Okay, let's get to it. Let's get to these earnings. Bam. Bam, and there we go. All right. Pepsi, ticker symbol PEP, the $188.3 billion company, reported its second quarter earnings on Thursday, July 9th. They have a 52-week high of $171.48, which took place on February 12th, and a 52-week low of $132.96 that occurred on July 9th last year, which is a trading range of $38.52. And they closed today at $137.86. Pepsi earnings report met market expectations on the top line, reporting revenue of $24.2 billion. But they missed on the bottom line as changing North American beverage trends and rising domestic advertising expenses pressured core operating margins. EPS was lower than the analysts and market expectations of $2.21 when they reported an adjusted EPS of $2.20. Pepsi reported a GAAP net income of $3 billion, which is higher than the $1.3 billion net income they reported this same quarter last year. This represents an increase of 130.8%. So for the second fiscal quarter of 2025, their net profit was approximately 56.7% lower than it is compared to now a year later. The earnings were released before the market opened, followed by 8:45 a.m. Eastern Time conference call. As far as guidance, management backed their organic revenue forecast, but caution results could end up near the lower edge of full year target models. That 52-week high compared to today's closing of $137.86 represents a decline of 19.6% over a span of approximately 5 months. So if someone invested $1,000 in February at that 52-week high of $171.48, they would be seeing a loss of $196.06. Woo! We did that. All right, now let's move on. Here we go. Researching a company. Let's talk about why we visit these company websites. We're looking at the visuals. We're looking at the visuals and text to find answers to these key questions. What goods and or services does the company sell? How important are those goods and services to their customers? What makes this company stand out from the competition? And how well do they take care of their employees? Where we look, we search for those answers in 4 main areas: the homepage for the goods and or services, about us for purpose, values, mission, and I said one more time, about us for purpose, values, mission, and vision statements, careers for employee benefits and opportunities, and investor relations for stock quotes, charts, and financial reports. And for your convenience, all companies featured in tonight's live stream are down in the description. Now let's go visit Pepsi's website. Let's go. Bam. And then we take this off and put Pepsi up here. All right, so here we go. I hope you're not hungry, because they got more beverages on here than a little bit. Look at all this food and these snacks and everything Pepsi got going on. My chair don't want to lean back. There we go. All right, so let's browse over this page. We're going to go to About Us. Boy, that's a big section right there, ain't it? Let me get over here. All right, who we are is up in there. Mission. Okay, so they make that easy to find. Investors is right there, and there's careers. All right, ain't hard to find. So let's just scroll over this homepage and then we'll get to clicking. Food, drinks, and smiles. Discover who we are. Snap, yum. I just said yum. Savor, sip, find your faves. Discover more about our food, drinks, nutrition, and new favorites. So featured. So that's food. And just scroll. Let's just go to explore brands. I'm not gonna click all that. Hopefully they'll show it all at the same time. I hate when they make you, just show everything at once. Let's see, all brands. All right, this will make it a little easier. So Aquafina, baked, Bacon Nets, Bear, Brisk, Bubbly, Captain Crunch, Cheetos, Chester's, Cracker Jack, Doritos. Boy, they own almost every Funyun, Fritos, Gatorade. See more. Yes, I want to see all of them. Oh, they got Grandma's cookies. Lipton, Mountain Dew, Munchies. Yeah, Pastaroni. See more. Y'all gonna make me just keep clicking. So it's just, let me just scroll. Y'all read it. Y'all read it at this point. I'm annoyed that they are making me keep clicking. Starbucks? Really? All right, so that's the bottom. Have a question, contact them. Remember, links for the websites that we're visiting tonight are down in the description for your convenience as well. Learn more reasons to smile. About PepsiCo, PepsiCo positive. Yeah, let's click About PepsiCo. I was about to say, don't you take me off this website. So this better be as good as About Us. This better be similar, like who we are. I think that's where we are right now. About PepsiCo, more reasons to smile. From the fizz of our first soda to the flavors we craft today, we create smiles in every sip and bite. Brands that bring joy. We just went through that. Food, drinks, and smiles. Built with high quality ingredients, deep connections with consumers, and iconic brands. Step inside PepsiCo and see how we're bringing the world more reasons to smile. Explore our mission. Wait a minute, it just changed. Explore our mission. Where's the mission? Okay, our mission. Create more smiles with every sip and every bite, serving more consumers, more occasions, more touch points. They have so much different stuff we click, and I'm lost. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know where we are. I feel like the guy in Wanted. We're like, I don't know who I am. This is beating the mess out of them. Everywhere we click, we going somewhere else. All right. Mission. Let me see if this is the same section. Yeah, that's why it's so confusing, guys. It's taking you back to the same place. It was like a loop. All right, so we got it. We know who they are. Pepsi, Pepsi, Pepsi. Now let's go to careers. They're probably gonna put more stuff over here as well. Careers. We are looking for the benefits, guys. That's what we want to know. But we're going to read some of the stuff, browse over the page. Hopefully we can stumble across the benefits. Grow, belong, and smile. Explore PepsiCo jobs.com, where food meets innovation. Meet the associates using cultural insights and innovation to create food and drink experiences enjoyed by millions worldwide. Grow at PepsiCo, unlocking career opportunities. I'm scrolling and it act like it don't want to move. There we go. All right. Stay in the know. Connect, follow, and share. Learn more about PepsiCo, mission and vision. PepsiCo positive. I ain't see nothing about benefits, guys. I didn't see it. PepsiCo jobs, maybe. And of course, that took us to a whole nother website. So let's blow this up and zoom in. 150. Got it. Yeah, they make you dig. They make you dig when it comes to looking for these benefits. Some companies, like when we look on the websites, it'll be right there. I love when they make it easy to find. They just put benefits, to discover benefits, explore benefits, something like that. They ain't said nothing yet. Our culture, more than just a food and beverage company. Innovation, work with some of the world's most iconic brands, purpose-driven agriculture. Sign up for Smiles. Join today. What about the industry says about working? What the industry says about working at PepsiCo? Where are the benefits? That's what they say. Where are the benefits? Yeah, guys. I'm ready to move on. Is it in here? Look, still ain't mentioned nothing about no benefits. All right, career areas. Nope. All right, we going into investors. I'm done. I'm done. You shouldn't have to go through that much. It should be under career somewhere. I don't see it. So investor relations, we on a separate website too. So let's just close this out, go back to the main website, and up here, investors. See what I mean? You need a map to go through this website. Investor relations. Here we go. Financials. I don't see anything about the stock information on there. Did we see anything about the stock up here at the top? No. About PepsiCo. Okay, here's the stock information. I don't see any hyperlinks to click that's going to take us somewhere else. So that might be all the stock information that they're going to give you on this website. I don't see anything that says stock quotes or charts. Yep, and nothing dropped down. Financials, earnings, dividends, overview, shareholder services. Let's try this. Dividend stock per nope. All right, we're done. We done, guys. I don't see it. So let's go. Let's move on. Here we go. Bam and bam. We can leave Pepsi up there. So we want to talk about the clients and partners. All right. Pepsi does have clients and partners that are listed in the S&P 500. Some notable names include Walmart Incorporated, ticker WMT, Target Corporation, ticker TGT, and Costco Wholesale Corporation, ticker COST. All right. Mobile limitations. Before we look at the charts, remember, professionals trade from a computer, not a mobile device. Mobile trading apps are limited and don't have all the features that are available on full trading platforms. Now let's look at Pepsi on the charts. Here we go. Bam. And we need the disclaimer. Bam. There we go. All right, we're good. I'm so glad we off their website. I don't know what to do. I'm glad I ate. The food looked nice, but we couldn't find no types of benefits, could we? Could we? All right, here we go. We are on Pepsi, pulled up on, let me adjust my chart because they don't have this on 30. This bothers me. As soon as I see it, I know it's off. So we go to time axis. Oh, it is on 30. It doesn't look like it to me. All right. So up here, we are looking at a 1-year daily chart for Pepsi. Here's their 52-week low of $132.96, which you can't see because I'm on the screen. So right here, $132.96 is the 52-week low. 52-week high, $171.48. And this was that decline from the high that I talked about in the earnings highlights. So they're down 19.61% from the 52-week high to today's closing price. All right. Now let's go to the 10-year daily chart, and we can take those boxes off and keep me off the screen. So here is 2016. So we do have the full 10 years. Here's the 10-year low of $95.94. 10-year high is $196.88. Okay, now I was looking at Pepsi before, and I believe we have enough technicals on here to go ahead and do what we need to do, because we have a few areas of support already on the charts down here, and it's trading below right now. It's trading below the 9-week simple moving average, and it's trading below the 200-week simple moving average. So I believe we have enough supports on the chart right now as far as like the weekly. Okay, the weekly, the 10-year weekly. So let's remove that drawing because I don't even remember why it's there. And then we can go ahead and go to the 1-year daily chart and look at some technicals. So since the price level is down here, it's got a few areas of resistance. So we got enough to where we don't have to go crazy. We're not gonna put every line in the world on the chart. We don't need all of that, okay? So here is where we're gonna start with our technical analysis. Let's zoom in. And the first thing that stands out to me, we gotta go ahead and get this gap identified. So Thursday to Wednesday's low. So today's high to yesterday's low, edit properties, we identify the gaps, or I identify the gaps on our charts as yellow. Extend this over to December 1st. There we go. And there's our gap. Now we need to know what those price levels are, right? So that's the lower part of the gap at $138.74. The top part of the gap is $142.44. So that's the gap that happened between yesterday and today. So as far as resistance, it needs to fill this gap, guys. So this gap is going to be resistance, top end of the gap. I already told you what that was. Also, I'm seeing, based on the indicator that I used or the study, this 9-day simple moving average is going to be resistance as well. So it's got a few things of resistance that it needs to get through. And then remove that drawing. We don't need that. And then we have the 200-day simple moving average right here. Now, if we looked at one more price level that could possibly give it some issues, let's zoom out just a little bit and see what we got. Come on, come on, come on, tool. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Didn't mean to do all of that. Let's zoom back in. I'm seeing this, but it's so close to the 200-day simple moving average, like the wicks of these candles, that could potentially be resistance. Looking at it like a zone, but it's so close to the 200-day simple moving average, I'm not going to put it there. It's, you know what? It's real close to the psychological level of $150. So I'm gonna use this wick. Let's just knock it out here. And then I'm gonna put this on the chart. So we've been talking about that more lately on the channel, about the psychological level of resistance. So those are gonna be our round numbers. So we can see now that I put that on the chart, actually, the 149.04 as resistance is actually near a psychological number of $150. That's close to that. And then our simple moving average, the 200-day simple moving average, is at $150.10. So that's what I got for resistance from where it's trading at right now. Okay. So we pretty much done with the technicals, because it's got a few things it got to get through. This gap, the 9-day simple moving average, the top of the gap, the psychological level at 150, which is also a level of resistance based on what I'm seeing, that it was formerly support. Right here, it was support here. And then you have the 200-day simple moving average. All right. And then over here, it was consolidating. So let me show you what those zones price levels are. So let me erase some of this stuff. That, and I'll show you this zone. So go here and I'll open this up. Let's take those off. So the top of that consolidation zone that I have up there is $157.81. Is right here. And the bottom of that gray zone is $152.35. All right. Hope you got that. Now, let's go ahead and get our stock quote for Pepsi. Space this out a little bit. And then I'm going to go into my settings. There we go. And cut on my floating data box. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. I definitely would appreciate it. So, Pepsi opened today at $137.09. They had a high of $138.74, and they had a low of $134.69, and they closed today at $137.86, which is a trading range of $4.05. Now, when we look at the trading volume, Pepsi traded 18.7 million shares of this stock today. Give me a second, my mouth dry. Now, something that was interesting that I want to refresh your memory about, they had earnings today, guys. So their earnings, you're going to get higher volume because it is earnings. And it was announced before the market opened, and the market seemed like they didn't like it. It was already declining for 2 days before today. And it ended up coming all the way down here, creating this low, which broke this previous low. And they end up recovering and closing right there at the top of the body of that green candle, okay? Just walking through that process of what happened today. Now, the average trading volume for Pepsi, guys, is about 8 million shares in a daily trading session. So this 18 million that they traded today is more than twice, is more than double of what they usually get. Double would be 16 million. And then this big, well, I wouldn't say big, but this red candle right here, the previous day's volume is going to be this one right here, coming in at 8.9, roughly 9 million shares. So it was above average, but we definitely see an increase in volume because of our earnings today. All right. Now let's put me back on the screen and let's talk about the volume rank percentile. Woo, guys, this was a big deal because out of the most recent 252 trading days, guys, only 3 of those days had higher volume than it came in on Pepsi today. And we look at that if we look at that as a percentage, then today's volume was higher than 98.8% of those most recent 252 trading days volumes. Got it? Hope you do. And then we can put this here as well. Let's do that real quick. Since it broke this candle's low, I'm going to put that there as support because of how this wick responded. The wick came down and tested this previous low. So I'll put a price level there for support. And then we'll zoom out because I told you we had a few price levels on there. So now you can see them. Let's move this up. So I just added the recent one. And then those are the other price levels. Spread it out a little bit. There we go. All right. Got it. And this, I don't know. I don't even know what that box is. So we'll leave that alone. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's go here. Change that. Take Pepsi down and go here. And then we can take that off too. Where are we at? We talked about the mobile limitations. We looked at Pepsi on the charts. Okay, community support. Back to the community. I would appreciate it very much if you guys share the stream, hit the like button, subscribe. And if you wish to send a monetary gift to support the content, Cash App and PayPal links are down in the description as well as on the ticker on the screen. S&P 500 index. Okay, let's look at what the S&P 500 index did today by using the SPY ETF. This ETF gives investors an opportunity to participate in the broader U.S. market by allowing them to own a percentage of each company in the S&P 500 index. All right, let's go back to the charts. Bam, 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 and bam. All right. So we're going to go up here to the symbol box and let's put in SPY. Okay, there's our levels. Now, yesterday, guys, let me take me off the screen. Let's get the 52-week lows and highs out of the way. So the SPY's 52-week low is $618.05. 52-week high is $760.40. And we are looking at a 1-year daily chart. Got it? Got it. Now, let's zoom in on the current price action. Okay, now we don't need some of these lines, so I'm gonna start removing those. Trend line, remove trend line, and remove trend line. Come on, give it to me. No, give it to me so we can take it off. There we go. Remove drawing. Okay, so we can see yesterday, put me back on the screen. So this is our candle from yesterday, and it found support. It closed above, it came below the 9-day simple movement average. And during that trading session, it was able to recover and close above two significant things. It closed above the 9-day simple movement average, and it closed above the area of resistance we had drew on the chart, which is at $744.44. Now, this is what I'm starting to see as we're doing these live streams with the SPY. Whenever the volume gets down to like the 40s, when it's coming down, if it crosses support, like if it's able to do that with support, it tends to move higher. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a common theme. I don't know that. But from what I'm seeing, when the volume is low and it's able to get above these price points, it's doing okay. Now, when that volume starts increasing, then we'll be able to know more conviction about what's going on. But as long as that volume doesn't increase something crazy, it's going to stay with the trend. It's going to stay with the trend. That's what I'm getting from this. So it closed above what I just said, those two things, and the volume is still low. So we'll talk about the volume in a second. We already have our supports because we already do this. So it was able to get above that next area of support, which is also a psychological level of $750. That 749.88 is real close to 750. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's put it over here. It's kind of easier to see if I put it there. All right. There we go. So as far as our technicals, just in case you want to know where the 200-day simple movement average is, the 200-day simple movement average is at, I'm gonna have to mouse over this, is at $694.04. And if you're wondering where am I getting that from, it's right up here. There it is. SMA 200 is set to the close. It's at 694.04. And then our 9-day simple movement average is right here, $744.82. And we haven't looked at the volume. So let's do the ETF quote, and then we'll talk about the volume. Go to settings, cut on my floating data box, hit apply. Here we go. So the SPY opened today at $747.35. They had a high of $751.97. They had a low of $745.59, and they closed today at $751.71, which was a trading range of $6.38. Now, the trading volume, guys, 41 million shares of this ETF was traded today. So now I can show you what I'm talking about with the volume. The volume is definitely below average. Cut the floating data box off. Here's our average volume, guys. The average volume in a daily trading session for the SPY is 73 million. These low volume days are bringing down this average. This average used to be 75 million. And I'm seeing it consistently come down because we're hitting the 40s so much. So we even have lower volume than yesterday. We came in at 43 million on this one when we closed above the 9 and that $744.44, right? And then we come right back in today with lower volume. Now it's 41 million, but it comes in higher and it opened higher. So here's our open on that green candle. Here's our close on the previous green candle. So it opened higher. It came down and kind of got into some of this price action on the previous day, but it was able to close above that next area of resistance, which was that $750 of psychological number, and that level of resistance at 749.88. All right. So that's what we got there. Now, The volume rank percentile, guys, this tells, I'm laughing because this really tells us how low this is. Out of the most recent 252 trading days, guys, only 7 of those days had lower volume than today, which makes this number look very small. So today's volume was only higher than 2.8% of those 252 trading days volumes. Extremely low, guys, at least with the trading on the SPY. Okay, so we got that. Let's go ahead and move on. Take that off the screen. We got that. I think this about to be my favorite part of the show. Let me see where we at. Oh yeah, sector rotation tracker, guys. That's where we at now. Sector rotation tracker. Time to find the money. Time to follow the money. Time to follow the money. Let's look at each sector inside the S&P 500 index to see how they perform today. Okay, let's check that out. So let's go back to the charts. Bam. Sector rotation tracker. Take that down. That's a mess. All right, we got that. We got that. Now, let's pull up this tool. Sector rotation tracker. Bam. Now, I'm going to bring you back on the screen. I need to pull something up, and I don't know how this is going to pop up on the screen in what location. Let me pull up the workbook. Let me pull up our sector rotation workbook we've been using to track what's been going on. All right, so let me position that over here, and then I will bring the charts back up so you can see it. I got you. I got you. All right, so that's that. Take this off. Go in. Go in. All right, cool. Minimize that and bring you guys back over. So here we go. Got you. All right. So here is our sector rotation tracker. That's what we're looking at. Sector performance in the S&P 500 index. So we're looking at just today. So that's 1D right there. So the SPY, not the SPY, the SPX, the S&P 500 is up 0.8% today. Energy is down 1.4%. Materials is up 0.2%. Industrials is up 0.4%. Consumer discretionary is up 1.3%. Consumer staples is down 1.4%. Healthcare is down 0.1%. Financials is up 1%. Technology is up 2.2%. Communication services is up 1%. Utilities is down 0.5%, and real estate is up 0.2%. All right, time for us to track this data. We're going to log this data in our notes. So here's our workbook, and another way for us to do this to make it easy to follow, because we are on Thursday, is to use this tool over here. So bring that down. We already have our list here. Percentage change, absolutely. So we're going to start with the gainers. We're going to start with the SPX and the gainer. So here's the SPX, Mark Rowe. So I learned that from watching the Schwab Trader Talks channel and all that. So that's actually going to come in handy for me because I need to know which one of these is the SPX. So I'll know to skip it. So I'm going to highlight that. So today we're going to put in our baseline. We need to put in our baseline. So we need to put in SPX. And then we're going to manually put in that change. So it was down 0.81%. Bam. Now, what's our top gainers? We already have it in ascending order. So having it in ascending order, we know the information technology. So XLK, and they were up 2.18%, not and, percent. Bam. Next gainer, XLY. XLY, consumer discretionary, and they were up 1.34%. XLF, financials. So XLF up 1.04%. Got it. Now, our biggest losers as far as the sectors. So now we put it in descending order. And there it is. Nope, that's not it. One more time. That's descending order. So our biggest loser is XLP. XLP. That's going to be consumer staples. They were down 1.41%. Then we have XLE, energy, XLE, and they were down 1.4%. And then we have XLU, utilities, XLU, not Y, XLU, utilities, and they were down, and I didn't put the negative, so down 1.41, down 1.40, and then down 0.08. There we go. There we go. Now, let's see who's on the move this week. Let's see who's on the move. We got one more day left, and I'm keeping my eye on information technology. So when we pull that up, we can see how many times they showed up today. Now, there's something else with this tool. You can't see it. I'm glad I looked up. So let's do this. Make it where it's easy for you to see. Ooh, I'm so glad I looked up. Y'all have been like, what the heck? He's blocking it. I can't see that. So here we go. Now I want to put on both, so this will make it easier to track to see whether it was green or if it was red. So yeah, guys, it's showing up as number 1 and number 2. So on Monday, it was number 1 as a gainer. On Tuesday, it was number 1 as a loser, and it took back more than what it gave. But for the last 2 days, it's been the number 2 and the number 1 sector as far as gainers. You got 1.2% in that sector on Wednesday, and then we got 2.2 today. Okay. Now I want to look to see financials, because I'm keeping an eye on financials as well. So now when we go to financials, they kind of broke even so far as being the biggest losers and biggest gainers out of the week, just being able to see that. Because we're not tracking every sector with this tool right here, but that's what we're seeing right now. And energy is something else I've been interested in keeping an eye on, because that's been leading for a while, like the information technology. And then they were saying it was a pullback and things like that. But energy is actually down today, but it went up the last 2. So on Tuesday and Wednesday. All right. Okay. All right. But that's our rotation tracker. We tracking that. So we got one more day this week to look to see what's going on with that. Now let's go back here. Let's take that off, go here and talk about it. All right. Now, biggest gainers and losers. Now let's look at the S&P 500 biggest gainer and biggest loser of the day. But first, we're going to look at the loser so we can end the night on a high note. All right. So just in case that sound confusing, I thought that's what we just did. We looked at sectors. Now we about to look at the individual companies. Who was the actual biggest loser and gainer as far as companies inside the S&P 500 index? That's what we're doing. Pull up the chart. Here we go. And yeah, we're fine with that. Put this disclaimer here. Okay, let's go over to the Market Watch tab. And we already have it pulled up, guys. So the biggest loser for today, is, take that off, ticker APA, APA Corporation, APA Corporation. Probably wasn't supposed to pronounce it. APA Corporation. They are down 5.5%, 5.05%. And their previous close was $35.06, and they closed today at $33.29. Okay, so we do our hypothetical. Let's pull up the calculator. Pull that here. That's not the tool. Give me a second. We're going to get it together. We're going to leave those boxes. Go here, do this. Bam. Go here, do this. All right, here's the calculator. All right, control this. Okay, so let's say somebody invested $3,500. So $3,500, they got that 5.05% loss. We negate it. That is not how we do that. I forgot to turn it to a decimal. So here we go. 3,500 times 5.05, negate it, turn it to a decimal for the percentage. They would have lost $176.75 of their $3,500 investment. We add the principal back to it, and then we can see how much they have left. $3,323.25. Bam. All right. So that's that. Minimize that. Take that off the screen. Now let's go over to the Analyze tab, and we can see that ticker APA is in the energy sector. So we're going to check the performance of that sector that they're inside of, the industry and the sub industry. So let's go over to the Market Watch tab and go over to the Visualize sub tab. All right. Mouthy right. Hold on. All right. Now we are looking for energy. I think energy is down in the bottom right. So here we go. We're in the S&P 500 watch list on the heat map. Now we're going over to the energy sector right here. Guys, I'm seeing way more red than green, okay? And now we are looking for APA. And here they are, right here. So they are inside the oil, gas, and consumable fuels industry. Okay. And then find them again. They are in the oil and gas exploration and production sub industry. And that's all red today. Okay. So we looked at the sector, the industry, and the sub industry. So let's go back to the Analyze tab. And here we go. Before we go to their website. APA Corporation. Here's the link to their website. Read some of this description, and then we're going to go check it out. APA Corporation, an independent energy company, explores develops and produces natural gas, crude oil, and natural gas liquids. I know it's short, but I'm not going to read all that. Let's go ahead and go to their website and see what we can find. So here we go. Put me back on the screen. We already have their ticker up. Take that off and then go here, I believe. Yep. All right. We're there. APA Corporation. I believe we're already zoomed in. Here is some stock information right up here at the top, guys. So here's about. So we're going to go there. Here's investors and here's careers. They made it real easy. So let's scroll over this homepage and then we'll look around. So APA contributes to human progress by responsibly helping meet the world's oil and gas needs. Got it. Apache. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So APA seems to be short for Apache, is a subsidiary of the APA Corporation. I just said something wasn't true, I don't think. That's a subsidiary of it. Maybe it's still APA Corporation, but it could stand for something. Where we operate, featured stories, fueling the future. At APA, we are focused on addressing the global dual challenge of meeting growing energy and demand in a cleaner, more sustainable way. All right. Elevating lives and driving human progress with reliable energy. Okay. Our challenge, your opportunity, our careers. Okay. We at the bottom of the page, guys. Everything we need is right up here at the top. So let's go to About. Hey, they made it easy. Our purpose. Today, the world faces an energy trilemma. To achieve energy security, reduce emissions, and sustainably meet rising energy demand. We believe society can accomplish all three, and we strive to meet those challenges while creating value for all our stakeholders. Who we are. We believe energy underpins human progress, and we want to be a part of the conservation and solution as society works to meet growing global demand for reliable and affordable energy. Our code of conduct, our vision and values. Our vision, to contribute to human progress by responsibly helping meet the world's oil and gas needs. Our core values, safety, integrity, people, stewardship, ingenuity. Got it. Their story. Guys, if you want to read that on your own time, be my guest. Links for the websites are down in the description. Now my lips dry. Lord have mercy. Woo. All right. So now we are looking for the benefits. Let's go to careers. Bam. Our challenge or opportunity. I remember reading that before. Explore what's possible. They have a video here that you can check out. Apache. Maybe that is. Hey, they said it again, but it says subsidiary as well. For opportunity, benefit. Hey, We found it. Benefits and compensation. We provide a fulfilling work environment supported by competitive base salaries and benefits, including performance-based incentives. Work-life balance. It's not a hyperlink, guys. It don't take us no further into the descriptions about the benefits. That seems really vague, but at least we found where they attempted to tell us. Valuing our global community, corporate awards. Yeah, that's it. That's all they're going to tell you about the benefits. All right, let's go to investors. Hey, we making good progress on this one. All right, so Suriname, reports and filings. Okay, here's the stock information. We're on the investors page. It looks kind of small to me, but that's 150. Okay. News, quarterly results, events, presentations, reports and filings, market data, APA stock, view more. So we're going to click there. Yep. Let's go ahead and click because we're at the bottom. Can you see that? Probably not, because as I was scrolling down, it went away. Let's go to view more. Here's the stock quote. Doesn't look. Oh, here's the chart once it loads up. So here's one of those situations where I was explaining that I think they outsourced the data for the stock information. So we'll talk about this while it's loading up. It should pop up in a second. Stock quote, they trade on the NASDAQ. Here's the closing price for today. Here's the net price change. Here's the percentage change. And there is the chart. Ooh, them some colors that'll hurt your eyes, won't they? That's the chart. Here's some other tools and graphs that they have on there as well, in the stock split history and dividend. So it looks like they pays a dividend. They pay a dividend. So it looks like they pays a dividend. Oh man, that's terrible. All right, here we go. So we have that up. We talk about the company. All right. APA Corporation, ticker APA. When it comes to their goods and services, they manage upstream energy production across the United States, Egypt, and United Kingdom markets, offering solutions such as, number one, complete hydrocarbon extraction options, including crude oil and natural gas liquids for global commodity markets. Number two, scalable natural gas products, including industrial fuel, utility supply, and liquefied gas for commercial energy distributors. And number three, optimized asset development systems tailored for developer exploration, seismic deposit modeling, and infrastructure drilling operations. Whew, got through it. All right. Now, looking at their S&P 500 clients and partners, notable names include Phillips 66, ticker PSX, Marathon Petroleum Corporation, ticker MPC, and Valero Energy Corporation, ticker VLO. All right. Now, let's go to the charts. So we go here and here and here. Yep. All right. Charts. We've looked at this company before, guys, because we got some technicals up here already. So let's go to the 1 year daily chart. APA is pulled up. We have some information over there that we were looking at as far as the trend lines. Take me off the screen. So here's their 52-week low of $17.86, 52-week high of $45.66. Now let's go to the higher time frame, looking at a 10-year weekly chart. We know that it's a 10-year because we got 2016, so we did get the full 10 years. Here's the information about a 10-year weekly. So each one of these bars we're looking at represents a week of time. All right, now I'm gonna zoom in. Oh, no. Here's our 10-year high of $69. Here's our 10-year low of $3.80. Crazy. That's a big drop from 69 down to less than $4. Now that was in 2020. So that's when we had COVID and there was a shutdown and people were in quarantine and weren't driving as much. So a lot of oil companies was depressed during that time frame. And then it recovered after elections, because it was elections up in there, and then things were slowly going back to normal where people were actually going back to the office and not working from home. So of course people went back to using more fuel and gas during that time frame. Okay, so that makes sense. Now, let's take that off the screen and focus on this area over here. Yeah, guys, we would need to use some, we already have it. We already have it. We already mapped this out. So these price levels are already from historical price data. So let's go back to the whole week, zoom out so you can see where we got them from. These price levels, wait a minute. These price levels come on. These price levels are from previous times it responded to those price levels. So we got it responding here, here, here. So that's where I got this price level from for $25.12. This $21.65, you just look to the right. You can see these weekly candles are finding support on that price level. And this looks very crazy. So let me take me off the screen. I want to make sure you can see this. So I won't, because since I'm not drawing the lines, I want you to at least know why they are there. These are the areas I seen on weekly candles from historical price data that it was actually responding to those levels that we have on the right of the screen. So that's where we getting them from, okay? Over here, it held that support. Here was support and resistance for that level. And this level here. So we did them. So you'd be like, he didn't show us where we got them from, because you didn't see that. You could have seen that live stream, but we did it already. So now with us looking at the lower time frame, we're looking at the 1 year daily chart. We can see that even the daily candles are responding to those historical levels we already put on the chart. So now it's starting to trend down and approach the 200-day simple moving average, this dashed white line here. And the price is still trading above the 9-day simple moving average, but it just got above it 3 days ago. So on Tuesday, that was this green candle here. Let's zoom in. So this will be easier to see. Give me a minute. I want to position this, make it real easy to see. So here is Tuesday's candle. That's when the price got back above the 9-day simple moving average, okay? Once it did that, it traded above it for 3 days. The first time it closed above it, here's Wednesday and here's Thursday. But today, it came back down to test that 9-day simple moving average. Now, something I want to keep in mind about this is that a lot of energy companies had issues today. So that could have been an explanation about why this pulled back, because it's just that industry and those sectors are pulling back. We seen that the whole thing was red anyway. Okay. Now let's move this up. And so it's still trading above the 200-day simple moving average. So we talked about that. So we need to look at the volume. Let's zoom out. I want to see something. Yeah, guys, we got some gaps on here that haven't been filled yet as well. This stock looks like it gaps a lot. So we have a gap right here. This gonna be, whoo. Let me find this tool. Here we go. Between this high and that low, edit properties, turn that yellow, and extend this over to December 1st. December 1st, there we go. All right, so it hasn't filled that gap yet. Let's put the bottom of that gap price level. So that's $35.35. The top of that gap is $36.20. So we've identified that gap. Now I'm looking to see if that gap has been filled, but that was another one between June 23rd to June 24th, but it came back up and it filled it. So we're good there. So another way to look at this, it wasn't just the fact that energy is pulling back or energy is having a tough time right now. It could be more than a pullback, but it's moving down right now. Let me say it that way instead of just saying a pullback. I don't like the phrase pullback because it insinuates that it's temporary. Sometimes when stocks go down, it's not a pullback. It's actually coming down. Okay, so that's why I don't like using that. But anyway, I don't think it's a coincidence that when you look at this in particular stock, it was also reaching resistance, because now we identified this gap needed to be filled, and the top and bottom of that gap is going to be resistance. So it fell short when it came to test it, and then the following day it seemed like it was better to come back down towards the 9-day simple moving average than it was to go higher. Now, another way to look at this while we're looking at the candles is that once the price action reached this level, once it reached up here, now all of these people who were losing when the price came below that price point, now everybody in here is break even or profitable once it reaches that area. So they might be like, whew, let me go ahead and get out. They just was trying to break even. Now the following day, it starts to try to take that back, because this is where the red candle is going to open at the top of that body. And then throughout the session, it ended up closing right on the bottom. So now half of those people are back to where they're losing, even though that's not perfect. You get what I'm saying? So all the longs below that line, they would still be profitable. But now everybody above them in that time frame is losing now because of where this candle closed at. So when you have people that's in clusters of areas that's been trapped, losing, sometimes they look for the first opportunity they can to get out, at least at a break even, or to take profits because they scared the market gonna take it back. So that could be what this red candle is telling you. I hope that makes sense. All right. So anything else as far as like an area of resistance, I'm seeing this level right here. So let me put this here. It's so close to the other one though. So since it's so close to the other one, I'm going to draw this as a zone, guys. And I'll show you what I mean. So if I do that candle and this candle, it'll be shy of that 39.40, but you'll see what I mean when I do it. So we'll take this out to December 1st and then take this out to January 1st and then click OK. See how we got some candles and some wicks within that zone now? We can see that it's testing that zone. And that zone is right before that price level that I have there. Okay. So we could have taken it all the way up to that actual price level. So let's do that. Let me do that. That way we don't have to put another line for that one. Come on, come on, come on. And then we'll go ahead and get the stock quote and move on. So we go to edit properties. I'm looking at something before I click on it. That's why I'm pausing. Okay, I see what it was. Edit properties, the top of the zone, we're going to change that to 39.40. So this will expand it up to the top. And then we don't need to figure out what the other one was. We just get this price level and snap it to that. And there we go. So now I'm seeing that gray area as resistance. I'm seeing that as resistance. That's the bottom of that zone. There's the top of the zone. I feel better about it looking at it as a zone than just looking at it as a level, because we can see a lot of candles fell short from that level, from that $39.40, but it started to peak within that zone with wicks and some of those bodies. So that's what I'm seeing as far as like my technicals. Okay. Got it, got it, got it. Now let's pull up the floating data box. Apply, and let's go ahead and get the quote for ticker APA Corporation. So APA opened today at $34.59. They had a high of $34.82. They had a low of $33.28, and they closed today at $33.29, which is a trading range of $1.54. Now, the trading volume, they traded 4.4 million shares of this stock today. So let's cut off the floating data box and find out what the average daily trading volume is for ticker APA Corporation. Take me off the screen. And here we go. The average trading volume, guys, is 7 million shares in a daily trading session. So 4.4 is definitely below average. So that's interesting, guys. This candle right here, even though it looks like a big, nasty red candle coming to the downside, It came to the downside on low volume. Came down to the downside on low volume. This green candle actually had more, it was more of average volume. Okay. So it could have been that they slowed down the buy-in today, like the buyers just stepped back for today and the sellers were able to take over and push the price down because there wasn't any buying volume today. Like half the volume wasn't even there, pretty much. So when the buyers step back in, it should be able to easily push this back up. If you have more people motivated to buy on the ask. But if they just weren't there today because energy itself sucked, we looked at that when we looked at the sector. It just sucked today. So maybe the buyers was like, we'll just sit back and we'll wait till it come down and then we'll buy tomorrow or something like that. And then it'll pick up. But that volume being low stands out to me. Now, let's talk about the volume rank percentile. How low is it? Like another way to see this. Out of the most recent 252 trading days, guys, only 25 of those days were lower than today's volume. Another way to look at it is that today's volume was only higher than 9.9%. Less than 10% of those candles was today's volume higher than. I hope that makes sense. Today's volume was not higher than at least 10% of those candles. It was only higher than 9.9%, just shy of 10% of those candles. All right. So we got that. We did our stock quote. We did our levels. And just in case I forgot, let me say this one. The 200-day simple moving average is right here, guys. That's at $30.45. The 9, we can't see it. We can't see the 9 because, let me put this box back here. Today's price is over that bubble. So let me show you where to get it. The 9's price is right here at $33.06. So we can see that today's price action, which we can also see because of this gap, it closed above that actual price of $33.06. So that's where those are. All right. Now, we only got one more company and I'm glad about it. So let's move on. Let's go over here to the Market Watch tab. Let's start condensing these. We're going to have to come back over here in a second. So let's go over to the Analyze tab. No, Market Watch tab. And then we'll go to the Quote Sub tab. We're going back to the watch list, guys. So here we go. The biggest gainer for today is ticker LITE, Lumentum Holdings Incorporated. They gained 11.13% today. 11.13% today. Their previous close was $707.10, and they closed today at $785.77. Woo, that's what they did. I don't like the way those boxes are so out of they look disproportionate. It was bothering me. Let me fix them, clean them up a little bit. All right, now today we've been using 3,500 as an example, I believe. So let's pull that up on the calculator. Yeah, 3,500. So if someone invested $3,500 and they got that 11.13% gain, we will multiply that, turn it to the percentage decimal. Won't forget that. Excuse me. They would have gained $389.55. Now we add that back to the initial investment. That means the total investment grew to $3,889.55. Bada boom, bada bing. There we go. So let's go over here to the Analyze tab after we select it. After we select it, go to the Analyze tab. Here's the ticker, LITE, and they are in the information technology sector. So we're going to see how that sector performed, how the industry performed, and how the sub-industry performed that LITE is inside of, okay? Ticker LITE. So let's go over to the Market Watch tab. Then we go to the Visualize sub tab, and here we go. Here's information technology right here, guys. Information technology. Bam. Now what we're looking for is ticker LITE. Now, if they have a small market cap, they might be hard to find within all of these companies. I see it. It's over here. So they are in the communications equipment sector. Not sector. They are in the information technology sector. Let me slow this down and make sure I say this clear. And they are in the communications equipment industry. Okay. Now we need to see what the sub industry is. The sub industry is the same name as the industry. So we can see that this industry inside the information technology sector performed well today. The only one that's red is ticker MSI, Motorola Solutions. Okay, so we seen that. Now I want to back out and go back to the whole information technology sector. The majority of this sector was green today, guys. Especially this one. The semiconductors is all green. It's just Nvidia had a red day and they only lost 0.66%. It wasn't much. They didn't even lose a full percent today. So now if we go back to the whole information technology sector, this industry performed well inside of the information technology sector as well. So here's storage. The only one that is nobody that was red today. I was about to say SMCI, but they were even green. They were up 0.25%. So those two industries that they said were pulling back, they're starting to recover. They're starting to recover, at least for right now. And those were the two industries inside of the information technology sector that has been leading for a while. Semiconductors, didn't mean to do that. Semiconductors and storage. But the company we're looking at, LITE, is in communication equipment over here. All right. So let's go back to the Analyze tab. Now, before we visit this company's website, here's a link to their website. It's also down in the description for your convenience. Let's read a little bit about the company in the description, and then we'll go to the website. Lumentum Holdings Incorporated manufactures and sells optical and photonic products in the Americas, the Asia Pacific, Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. Got it. Now, let's visit their website. Put me back on the screen. Here's their website. And we already have their ticker up there. Just take the disclaimer thing off. There we go. All right, so let's browse around and see where we gotta go. Here's About Us, so I know we're gonna go there. Let's browse over their homepage and we'll see if at the bottom we see the other links that we need to click on. Illuminating the networks of tomorrow. Got it. Product highlights, powering hyperscale data centers with cutting edge technology. Got it. Here are some stats about the company, Lumentum at a glance. Here's a video if you want to watch it. Links to this website are down in the description. Over 45 years of photonic leadership, over 13,000 global employees, and over 1,600 patents. Wow. More About Us. So careers and investor relations. They didn't make that hard to find. See, I like this. Let's keep going. We right at the bottom. So we also can see careers right here and investors right here. So let's click on About Us and see what happens. All right, company. Lumentum is illuminating the networks of tomorrow with breakthrough optical and photonic technologies that power innovation across AI, cloud, telecommunications, industrial, and sensing applications. Got it. So here's their story, impact, leadership, commitments, latest news releases, and join our team. There's the story. Here's some more stats. Here's leadership. Here are their commitments. So they just would have had us scroll down the page. Discover your potential with global leader in photonics. Discover your potential with a global leader in photonics technology. At Lumentum, you'll join a team that pushes boundaries, drives innovation, and shapes the technologies that define tomorrow. So explore careers. I believe these are the benefits. A brief description of them. This would be like saying the sectors of benefits. These are the different types of benefits that they cover. So we're going to click there at explore careers. I believe they're going to actually give us what we're looking for. Okay. So it was something else in About Us I wanted to see. Let's go back to the top. About Us. Is there a drop down? Yeah. Explore opportunities, global benefits. Yep. Global benefits. Here we go. So we didn't click careers. We went directly to global benefits, but it is under careers. You see that tab right there? So if we go to the home page and then we go to careers, we should see that it takes us to the same thing. but it should be another link that goes to benefits, which is right there. So let's scroll over this and we'll go back to the benefits. I'm gonna do my best not to read it all. Just gonna scroll over it. So there are those stats again. So they breaking Lumentum down. The meaning behind the name Lumentum. Why Lumentum? Learn more about life at Lumentum, global benefits. So here we can explore the benefits here as well. They have it in a few different places. Let me go down to the bottom of the screen. University relations, join the team, innovation. Okay. So here we go. Explore more benefits or explore benefits. See, it took us where we needed to go. Benefits that empower you. Okay. At Lumentum, we're committed to supporting your well-being and work-life balance with comprehensive benefits that go beyond the basics. Explore opportunities, caring about our people around the world. Benefits by country. So America's, United States. All right. So here they break it down, guys. It's very organized. So here's health, here's money, here's time off, here's learning. Remember, links to the website are down in the description. Growing together through collaboration and culture. And that's it. We got it. Great website. Easy to browse. There we go. Investor relations, reject all. Stock info is at the top. They trade on the NASDAQ. That's what I mean, this area up here. Because if you're looking down here, you won't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, trade on the NASDAQ. So there's that information. Let's browse over this section and then we're going to go to stock info. All right, we're at the bottom of the page. Stock info, go to stock quote. So here's the quote. Here's the chart. I love the fact it didn't have to load up. It's already there, guys. So now we can move on. I love the fact they had this so organized. Oh, goodness. All right, here we go. Take that off. We should have been took that off. But anyway, Lumentum. Now we go here. Lumentum Holdings Incorporated, ticker LITE. Ticker LITE. When it comes to their goods and services, they manage optical and photonic technologies across the cloud computing, artificial intelligence, infrastructure, and telecommunication markets, offering solutions such as, number one, complete networking hardware options, including transceivers and optical circuit switches for data center operators. Number two, scalable photonic components, products including diode lasers, coherent modules, and fiber amplifier assemblies for communication equipment manufacturers. And number three, optimized industrial laser systems tailored for precision manufacturing, semiconductor processing, and macro materials drilling applications. Looking at their S&P 500 clients and partners, notable names include Cisco Systems Incorporated, ticker CSC. Oh my goodness. Let me slow down. All right, clients. I go back a little bit. Looking at their S&P 500 clients and partners, notable names include Cisco Systems Incorporated, ticker CSCO, NVIDIA Corporation, ticker NVDA, and Microsoft Corporation, ticker MSFT. All right, now let's go back to the charts. And yeah, we're good. We're good. Go back to the charts. Now, we've covered this company a few times before too, so we have some technicals done already. So let me take me off the screen. Here is their 52-week low. We're looking at a 1-year daily chart. Here's their 52-week low of $88.93. Here is their 52-week high of $1,085.68. Now we're going to go back and we're going to look at a 10-year weekly chart, and we can see they have a 10-year low of $24.34. That's crazy. And this is 2016 is behind this area, but we do get the full 10 years here. And here is their 10-year high of $1,085.68. And this seems to be a common theme with what's going on with these now. A lot of the 10-year highs happen to be the 52-week highs as well. Okay. And let's zoom in on this on the weekly chart. That almost seems as if the stock just went straight up. Okay. So I put this trend line here just to point this out. So in the last year, so that's 364 days, the stock is up over 1,000%. It's up over 1,449% to be exact. Is up over that. Okay. Spread this out a little bit. So once, and these are weekly candles now, just to remind you, we're looking at weekly candles. So this candle right here is nasty for that week. Now, what I mean by that's nasty is that it was able to push all the way up here. That's why we have a resistance zone there. I created a zone there since that wick fell short of coming up to that high. I just went ahead and had put a zone there. Okay. And then when we had looked at this, it's a reason behind this. It's something I'm missing. There's no previous high there. There's a reason we have that below that actual high. And I don't remember what it was. I should have put it in my notes or something. Because looking at it now, I would have put this zone at the very top of that. So I'm thinking that during that week, that high was lower because this is a weekly candle. So that day, we're going to look at the daily chart. That'll probably let us know what's going on with that. So let's just move on. But those are the zone. That's the resistance zone that I have up there. This is where the price is right now for this week anyway. So here's where it closed last week. Let me use this. This is the close of last week, and this is the open of this week. So it almost looks like it opened exactly where it closed at. Now, during this week, it did come down and create a new low compared to last week's low. And we still have one more trading day, which is Friday for tomorrow. So we got to see what that Friday day candle is going to make this candle look like. Because based off how it's forming now, it looks as if this candle is going to come up during tomorrow's session to try to test or cross that 9-week simple moving average, because this is weekly. These are weekly candles. But first, in order for it to do that, it has to get through this level of resistance at $827.56. Okay. Now let me see, because with the price action being up here, guys, and using the weekly chart, we didn't have any other price levels that we really needed to do because the price was trending sideways up here at these levels. But now that it's not in that consolidation zone anymore, it seems to be coming out of it. We need to look for another area that could possibly find support on. And I'm gonna say right about there. So that looks like around $650. Notice how that's real close to a psychological level. And I'm explaining to you how I got that. I'm looking at the low of that candle right there. That low of that candle is real close to the open of this candle. So looking at a high and a low and an open and a close, that's what I'm trying to look at to get like a baseline level for my levels. The other thing I'm looking at is that the wick of this candle is real close to that as well. So the open of this is close to that level, and the low of that candle is close to that level. So it's three things I'm looking at that's helping me identify that price level. Okay. That's where I got that from. Now notice that 652, that $600.52 is real close to a psychological level that we've been talking about. So let's put those there. That 652 is real close to 650. And this 551 is real close to 550 when we're looking at those as price levels. Okay. So that's what we have looking at the 10-year weekly chart. So now we're going to take that little analysis we just did and look at the lower time frame. So here we go, looking at the 1-year daily chart. Let's zoom in on the most recent price action. You see, now that we've done that on the higher time frame, we already have something to keep our eyes on. And notice that $550 price level, and I know that says $551.99, but if we're talking about that psychological level, 550, we also have the 200-day simple moving average that's trading at $554.07, or trending at or moving at $554.17, is crossing that area of support and that psychological level, that simple moving average. But that's a ways away compared to where it is right now. So on the 9-day simple moving average, today's candle was able to close above the 9-day simple moving average, but it also gapped up. So since it gapped up, we need to put that on the chart. So yesterday's high, today's low, turn that yellow, extend it over to December 1st to just give us some time. So December 1st, there we go. And then price levels. What's the low end of that gap? $719.12. What's the high end of the gap? $751.90. Do you notice something? That $750.91 is close to a psychological number of 750. So we got 3 of them. Bam, bam, bam. I'm just jumping around. How about I type it? 650. And then 550. Okay. So we got that. Now, yeah, we don't need any more levels because we have enough on here to see what's happening. Now it looked like it found some type of support here. So if I cut on my crosshairs and look to the left, you see how that's close to the open of this candle and the open of this candle? If you look over to the left, it's close to that. It's not perfectly on it, but it's close to it. It's also close to the open of this candle. So this $652.21, that's a resistance. That's a support and resistance we got from a higher time frame. That was from the weekly. But now if we're looking at the daily chart, and we can take those price levels off because now that I move it, it's not going to line up with it. We can see, put that price level there, that over here, we have some opens, some closes, and some wicks that's responding to that price level over there. Okay. Because that's where it stopped coming down at with these 2 candles. So this is Wednesday and that's Tuesday. Those wicks seem to find support at that $683.40 price level. Then it ended up gapping up today. So we need to pay attention to the volume as well. And it was able to close above the 9-day simple moving average. That's what we got for our technicals with this. And we can get ready to talk about this volume, but let's go ahead and get our stock quote for ticker LITE. So let's cut on my floating data box. And here we go. Lumentum Holdings Incorporated opened today at $755.16. They had a high of $804.90 and they had a low of $751.90. And they closed today at $785.77, which is a trading range of $53. Now, when we look at the trading volume, guys, they traded 5.5 million shares of this stock today. So let's cut off the floating data box and find out what the average daily trading volume is for Lumentum Holdings. The average trading volume for this company, guys, in a daily trading session is 4.8 million shares. So today's volume was above average, but it seems like it wasn't above average by much, coming in at that 5.5. Now we can say this though. This is also a candle pattern. I'm just now noticing that. So let me erase this. And I'm going to explain what that candle pattern is. So we identified that this is a clear downtrend. Okay. You actually have a couple of them. There's 2 of them that formed. So these, and I'm going to just erase all that and we could talk about it. These 2 candles here, that's a Harami pattern. These 2 candles here is a bullish engulfing pattern. So let me type this out. The second box. So number 1. So let's put that there. Number 1, the first pattern is a Harami pattern. I like using all capital letters. Okay. It just means pregnant. I hope I spelled that right, but yeah. pregnant. So what that means is that that candle, that second candle in that pattern, fit inside of the previous candle. So this candle was pregnant with that candle. And it formed at the bottom. But with that candle being so low, it would have been better to see the harami with that candle in the midpoint like this one is. This is like a reverse version of the harami pattern. It's a bullish engulfing pattern. So that's the second one. So if we come down here, number 2 is the bullish engulfing pattern. So the second candle, the body of the first candle can fit inside of. In a harami pattern, it's the opposite. The second candle's body can fit inside the body of the previous candle. But it would have been more bullish. The harami pattern would have been more bullish if the body of the second candle was in the midpoint of the first candle. It was at the very bottom, like it was near the close. So that wasn't as bullish. I hope that makes sense. Because it wasn't able to get into the midpoint of the previous candle's body. Now, if it was here, if the body of that green candle was here, if it was up here, then it would have been more bullish. Like this one. The body of this red candle was in the midpoint of this candle. It was actually slightly above the midpoint. And then you see it gapped up after it formed that bullish engulfing pattern. And it was on higher volume than that previous day's volume. Okay? So let me point that out. Let me get my arrow. So the previous day's volume came in at 2.5 million shares. Average volume is 4.8. So it was below average. So then today's volume basically doubled compared to yesterday after that bullish engulfing pattern formed. And it was able to gap up and close above the 9-day simple moving average. Got it. That was a good breakdown of that. All right, put me back on the screen and let's talk about this. So out of, let me put that back. When we look at the volume rank percentile, out of the most recent 252 trading days, today's volume was higher than 66.7% of the most recent 252 trading days. Got it. How many of those days were higher than today's volume? 84 of those days. DA stands for days above. All right, guys, we did it. We got it. So we can go here. Bam, take that off, put that there, take that off. We got another one in the books, guys. So let's close the show. You already know. I hope that you learned something and I hope that you earned something. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. This Sunday, July 12th at 9 p.m. Eastern time, we're reviewing this week's performance of the 11 sectors in the S&P 500 index. Notable market news. Notable market news, learning how to use the Thinkorswim platform, and performing a live Q&A so we can focus on building our community. And make sure you keep tuning in weekdays following a market trading session at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Take care and God bless.